So, someone was asking what molecules have what symmetries and so on, so I thought you should get a feel of it. Okay. So, this Otabian website is very beautiful. So, you can start going on to see what are the molecules, and then there is animation on the right hand side. You can do the animation to see whether it has any other, this is the C2 symmetry, where if you keep track of one, you can see that it goes to the diagonally opposite point and so on. So you can see the mirror reflection, for example, along the, sorry, this is C2 along the y axis. Okay. So C2 along the y axis is left right symmetry, it goes, can you see it? It is the left right symmetry. So, this is one way in which you can see that there are various compounds, or you can call it molecules in chemistry, where they first figure out what is the symmetry possessed by the molecule. This molecule, it need not be C2, right, it could be much more than that, but they try it out and make sure that what is the maximal symmetric group it has. Okay. So, I thought let me share this. I did send this link. How many of you tried it? I do not know how many of you tried, but there was this supersymmetry tutorial which will give you a hands on, whatever I tried to do it in the class, but here you could try and do the C2 axis animation. You can see that both the hydrogen atoms move from one to the other. If you do a sigma x z plane, then you see that those two atoms exchange the positions. Okay. Is that okay? So, you can get some feel on doing the animation yourself and see what molecular symmetry is all about. Okay. So, I am not getting onto it, there are point groups, and you can check out various things to get your clarifications on the notations. I have confined to something called Schoenflies notation. Sometimes these people follow some other notation by putting 2 bar, which means bar means mirror and so on. So, let us not get into new notations, let us confine to the Schoenflies notation, where Cn means principal axis is n-fold axis, and once I put CNV, then we will have a vertical mirror containing the axis. CNH means a vertical a mirror, horizontal mirror, which is perpendicular to the axis. Let us follow that notation, and we are not going to follow anything other than this notation in this course. Okay. Fine. So far a warm up on how to look at the molecular symmetry. As I said, I wanted to do a couple of problems as a tutorial today. Okay. One of the things which I passingly said is that when you do conjugation of a element, the conjugation of the element, suppose the element in the symmetric group of degree n has some cycle structure. If you do a conjugation, I said that the cycle structure remains unaltered. It will go to a new element, but the cycle structure remains unaltered, right. So, we can write the element in the cycle structure. So, if you look at the cycle structure, okay. So, aim is to prove conjugation preserves the cycle structure. Okay. So, suppose you take an element in the symmetric group. Looking at this element, you will have, there is a S1 cycle, S2 cycle, ST cycle. I am not even telling what is the number of them. Okay. This is an element which you have. Once you have this element, and now let us take that element. So, we know the set of elements in that symmetric group, right. So, you have, I am calling it as A11, and those are the elements which are the objects on which you do the permutation, and the objects are such that A11 object, if you do a sigma by sigma, you mean A11 goes to A12. In this notation you could have written it that way, right. let me write it for you. Sigma, I have written it as A11, A12, A1S1, A21, A22, A2S2 and so on, right. The same thing I could have written here in this notation. Only thing you have to remember is that this cycle structure means this group element is A11 will go to A12, A12 will go to A13, right, and then A1S1 will go to A1, clear, and similarly A21 will go to A22, A23 and this one will be A21, okay, and so on. So, this is the longhand of writing the permutation element in the symmetric group, whatever is the degree is dictated by S1 plus S2, so many elements, that will be the degree of this permutation group, and for that particular permutation which is written in the cycle structure, you can write a longhand like this, clear. Similarly, I have another element which I have written it in the longhand. I am not saying what is B11, B1S1, some other elements, it does not need to be the cycle structure. A11 will go to one of those elements from the set and I am just calling them to be B11 and so on, okay. We want to prove conjugation preserves the cycle structure, that is the motivation. So, we want to do pi inverse sigma pi. Pi is some arbitrary element, permutation element in the same symmetric group of degree which was there for sigma, okay. If you do pi inverse sigma pi on B11, so let us take one of the element B11, okay. So, if you do pi inverse sigma pi on B11, what does pi inverse do on B11? If you look at it here, it is a reverse operation. B11, a specific element B11 under an inverse of pi will go to A11. Under sigma, you know A11 will go to A12. Again you do a pi. If you do a pi on A12, it goes to B12. So, what have I essentially achieved is that the element B11 under the conjugation operation goes to B12. So, I am just taking one object in the object of degree n and I have defined what is the pi operation, I have defined what is the sigma operation. So, one object which I am just looking at it, I am calling it as B11. The pi operation, pi inverse operation on B11, I know what it will do. That's what I am proving. No, it is just a specific example. See, I am not even giving as an example. Any arbitrary permutation element will have some cycle structure. For example, let me take an S1 cycle structure, S2 cycle structure and so on. Which cycle structure? No, I am not done it. I am not done it. I am doing it for a particular element. I am not finished the whole thing. Okay. So, I have just shown that a specific element of so many objects if you take and if you do this conjugation operation, that specific element, you can take any element. You could have taken B21 or B1S1, I do not care. Okay. You can take any element. If you do the pi inverse sigma pi, you will show that the corresponding that set of series of operation which I do will take you from, for this particular example of B11, it will take you to B12. If you had taken B12, it would have gone to B13. So, what I am trying to show is that if you go to B21, it will not give you any of these sets. Okay. So, this by induction, if you do this by induction, you can call it A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, you can call any letters, I do not care. But what I am saying is that subset of S1 letters under conjugation will only mix only those subset of S1 letters. Yeah. It is an operator you can take. I have n objects and I do pi inverse on that n object, and then I do a sigma on the modified n objects. That modified n is permutation of those n objects, and again a pi on it. You can do that also, you can check it out also, do that also. Okay. So, you can do whichever way you want, and I am just trying to say that if you started with a sigma with some specific cycle structure, a conjugation will not alter the cycle structure. That is all I am trying to motivate you, that this is the steps. Even though I have looked at a specific element in this order of pi inverse sigma pi, you can see that the conjugation preserves the cycle structure. So, that is why I said pi inverse sigma pi ultimately can be rewritten as S1 cycle, S2 cycle up to ST. The next thing which I wanted to show was the proof of the Cayley's theorem. That was also one of the problems which I had given you. So, take a finite group. So, let us take a finite group will always have an identity element, let me call that as G1, okay, and then let us take the order of this group to be n. Okay. Cayley's theorem says that any finite group will be isomorphic to a subgroup of symmetric group of degree n. Okay. So, what we will do is we will take these n elements to be the n objects in the permutation, in the symmetric group, okay, and we define a map. So, we are going to define a map pi which takes G to, let me call it as a permutation group, which is a subgroup of symmetric group of degree n. Okay. This is what we want to show, that, and then we want to show that pi is an isomorphic map. Okay. If you can show this, then you have proved Cayley's theorem. So, I have defined for you a pi subscript G by definition is take the set of all the elements in that group G to be the objects in the permutation group, which is getting permuted. If you multiply G1 with G, you will get some element which belongs to the same set, you all agree, right? That is the definition of the group. So, I am defining pi G to be G1 times G, G2 times G and so on. Now, I will leave it you to do pi G1, pi G2 or pi pi G, pi H and show that to be pi GH. Okay. These things I want you to check. Okay. So, these are the properties to show that this is a having a homeomorphic map, or in fact it is an isomorphic map, right. And once I show this subset of elements, subset of permutation in your symmetric group of degree n will have all the group properties, and it is going to be isomorphic to your finite group of degree n, order n. Okay. So, that is the Cayley's theorem, and this I gave it in one of your assignment to check, and this is the way to prove it. Okay. So, I have said show that pi g is isomorphic to G, and hence G is a subgroup of the symmetric group of degree n. This I have not shown it for you, but you can do it systematically, write pi h and then write the combinations and show that this property is satisfied. What is the inverse operation? It is well defined for a permutation elements. Okay. Okay, so the other question which I had asked, so there was a typo, this should not be S4, it should be symmetric group of degree 4, okay, just correct it. So, every symmetric group, for example, we are taking a symmetric group of degree 4, 4 objects, I have given 2 subgroups, okay. One subgroup is where you take 1-2 cycle and a 3-4 cycle, and you can write V involving, it should form a subgroup, which means just with 1, 2 and 3, 4 it will not be enough, right. Why? The set should be, if you write a V as identity 1, 2, 3, 4, is this a group? It is not a group because it is inverse, 1, 2 square is identity, it is okay. 3, 4 square is identity, but I should also allow properties where I multiply arbitrary elements and it should be in the set. That will not happen. So, you will have 1, 2, 3, 4. Anything else? This square is also identity. So, this is definitely a subgroup of your symmetric group of degree 4, right. But is it an invariant subgroup? If it is an invariant subgroup, what do we have to show? If you take 1, 2 element and a G and a G inverse, what should you get? Has to be some element from the set, okay. I am not even saying, so let me call that element as some element H, which is an element of V for all G, which is an element of symmetric group of degree 4. This happens, then you will call V as a invariant subgroup, okay. So, you have to check, but I am trying to tell you that if you do this, you will find that this is not same as, this is not satisfied, okay. So, which means V is not an invariant subgroup, okay. Is that clear? V is not an invariant subgroup. So, you need to look at the other group which is given also, do a similar exercise Vn, and you can show that Vn is normal while V is not, okay. The same arguments you have to do, but you will be able to show for the other group Vn, it will be Vn will be an invariant sum. By the way, Vn belongs to alternating group or no? Vn has what elements? One, two, three, 4, 1, 3, 2, 4 and 1, 4, 2, 3. This has what? It has 2 transpositions. Every element in this group has even number of transpositions, so it will belong to the alternating group. Clear? And I will leave it to you to check that this one will be an invariant subgroup, which means it will be E equal, okay. Okay, so given this fact, I have asked one more question here. Realize See, if you remember the definition of a semi-direct product, you will find a subgroup whose intersection with the invariant subgroup is only identity element, right. That is the definition of a semi-direct product group. So, you find, so invariant subgroup was Vn and you need to find a semi-direct product with some subgroup, let me call it as H, and that I want to write it as a symmetric group of degree n or degree 4 in this particular example, right. Did you people try it out? Anybody has some insight on what should be that subgroup elements? What is the requirement? The elements of Vn intersection elements of H has to be only identity element. That is the definition of a semi-direct product. Semi-direct product is given by the symbol. Okay. So, this is a symbol for semi-direct product with this condition. Then you are asked to find a subgroup H or another subgroup such that the semi-direct product gives you all the elements of that symmetric group of degree 4. How many elements are there? First check, 24 elements, which is 4 factorial. Here there are 4 elements. How many elements should be here? Semi-direct product. Orders, what is the order of a semi-direct product? If you take G1 and G2, if you do direct product, what is the order? Multiplied. What happens to the semi-direct product? It will also be multiplicated. What is the change? Right? That will also be multiplicative. So, which means this group should have order equal to 6. That is the first thing, right. And then you figure it out, what are the elements which you can write. Okay. Other thing is it is a symmetric group of degree 4. It has even permutations and odd permutations. Vn has only even permutation. So, which forces you to have at least some elements which are odd permutations such that one odd multiplied with even will give you other odd elements, right. But you should also get other even elements, which means you should have even elements also in the group H whose intersection with Vn is null, except identity nothing should be there. You agree? So, these are the things we observe. Observations are H must have odd permutation elements, as well as other even permutation elements. Okay. So, that is the first observation we can make. So, using this let us start generating. So, let us write H to be identity, let us write 1 2. If I take the 1 2 with this 1 2, 1 2 squared is identity, 3 4 is generated. So, I do not need to write 3 4. Is that clear? So, what I have to do is I have to generate things which are cannot be generated from here, that is 2 3 and what else? So, with this you have these 3, you also get various here from 3 4 2 4 2 3. Okay. So, that is one which you can kind of guess. I should also remember I should not exceed 6. I should also make sure that this forms a group, right. So, forming a group means what? Product of these transpositions should also belong to this set, right. 1, 2, 1, 3 will be product of 2 transposition will give you a 3 cycle, right. And completely you know it is like the symmetric group of degree 3, 1, 3, 2. By now all of you should be comfortable with the cycle structure notation or the other notation. The intersection of this with this is only identity element. I have not still shown whether it will generate all the elements, but you can check in random, can you get a 4 cycle out of this. Okay, so I will leave it to you to check if you want to get 1, 2, 3, 4. You have to pick one element from here, pick one element from there such that the product will give you 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So, just check in random and see whether you can also generate the, you have to get all the 24 elements. This is definitely a subgroup. Symmetric group of degree 3 is a subgroup of symmetric group of degree 4, where you do not touch the 4th object, right. You do not need to permute the 4th object, 4th object can just remain itself and you permit only the 3 objects. But what I want you to check is that the semi-direct product will give you all the 24 elements for this particular case, and this is the way one should go about reasoning it. Okay.